The views and ideas presented on this program are those of the people who express them. That will be mostly me. They do not in any way, shape, or form represent those of Sky Cable 13, Telemedia, and or its employees, okay? I'm about to rock. It's the KLH Show, starring me, KLH. I'm telling you, you better hold on to something. Let's go! What's going on, Waterbury? It's me, your man KLH, back in your TV screen, here to save the world 30 minutes at a time. Yeah. I know that you have plenty of viewing choices out there. You made this choice, and I appreciate you for it. Well, I'm just gonna go through a range of subjects today and just let you know where I'm at on a couple of things and share some thoughts that hopefully you'll find interesting. I wanted to touch on something that I got into my first show of this season, and that is the KLH show itself and what I'm doing here. Some people might look at me sitting here on my couch. This is my living room here. It's me and you in my living room. You and I. I am not presenting myself as an expert. I never have. I'm an expert in my trade. I'm a ceramic tile guy. But I don't pretend to be an expert here. What I'm doing is expressing my thoughts, my mind on a range of topics. And you might say, why? Well, I think that I am very opinionated for a reason. I believe that I am here on this earth to express myself. I think that everybody is here for something, and I said it before and I'll say it from time to time throughout the season, is that you are here for something great. I think we all are, no matter who you are. If it's a talent, an ability, if it's a certain quality that you have to bring certain things to a situation, certain sense of peace or love or affection, if whatever it is, I think we are all here for something great. And so I'm here pursuing a dream of mine to be on the big screen someday. Well, not the big screen, but on the big TV screen, and saying what I have to say about stuff. And so I just want to make it clear that I am not here pontificating. I am not here to say that the way I feel about things is the way it is. I am not here to push my opinion or point of view on anybody. I am here to hopefully advance a topic that I'm discussing and provoke thought and get you folks out there to talk amongst yourselves on what you think about subjects that I may be bringing out here on the KLH show. Struggling through that a little bit, but that's what the deal is. It's me expressing my mind, my thoughts, hoping that you folks will see fit to carry that conversation forward. And I think the thing that ultimately can benefit us all is that when we are speaking on things, when we are bringing our opinions and feelings to topics, I think that's when change can happen. That's when things happen, is people getting up off their behind, so to speak, bringing their feelings and thoughts and passions to a situation can move the ball forward and make this world a better place. So that's what's up with the KLH show. I want to move in now to the presidential race. It's looking like Mitt Romney is going to be the Republican nominee for president, and it's interesting to see people now giving him their endorsement now that he's pretty much the only guy in the race. Before they were a little bit afraid to do that, but now that he's looking like the guy, they're all of a sudden, yeah, I'm endorsing Mitt Romney and he's going to be a great choice. Although the conservatives have been very skittish about Mitt Romney because his politics have been very moderate. When he was a governor in Massachusetts, he governed pretty much in the middle of the road. His politics throughout his political career have been very moderate. And now that he's running for president and the conservatives are the ones with the power in the Republican Party, he's acting like he's a conservative. He has a lot of situations where he has been on two sides of an issue. And so it's a bit difficult to see what Mitt Romney really believes. And I think that's the problem with so many politicians, is that they oftentimes will tell us what they think we want to hear, but then behind closed doors, or when they're in sessions in Congress, they do something different. And I think it's high time that we hold our politicians accountable for what they're supposed to do. Politicians are elected officials. They are elected to be servants for the people. That's you and I. And yet what happens is they go in, and it seems like the only thing they are really interested in is holding on to their job and getting more power, and then giving favors to the people that got them their jobs. That leaves average folks out of the equation. And so during the campaigns, you'll hear them saying things that may sound very appealing to us. Sounds like they're for the people. When they get in, all of a sudden they forget what they were elected to do. And that is why speaking up, and it's one of the things that I want to do with this show, and why I think it's important for all folks to speak their mind, is because that is how we get their attention. We need to be writing, emailing, calling our elected officials to let them know what we expect from them. And we cannot stop expressing our feelings and our wants and needs until we get what it is that we want. So we have Mitt Romney on one side of the equation. His thing is to lower taxes, which of course everybody wants lower taxes, really. All citizens do, at least. And he thinks that this will stimulate the economy and that it'll trickle down, which is a typical or a common, I don't want to use it's a common philosophy when it comes to Republican conservatives in particular, that if you give tax breaks to so-called job creators, that it trickles down to the middle class and to the working class people in the country. I think that lower taxes is a great thing. However, trickle down, I think, is a bit of a fantasy, or maybe not even that nice of a thing. I think it's trickery. I think that if the rich folks in this country get lower taxes, then they will simply take that money and run. I don't think that's the thing that's going to force them or motivate them, I should say, to create more jobs. I think that it will benefit them. They'll keep the money. So many times we hear a lot of talk about money being held offshore, trillions of dollars that they are not bringing into this country and letting it work to build our economy. And so really, I think the conservatives are interested in helping the powerful and forgetting about the working class folks. I think it's just kind of contrary to the whole conservative philosophy. They won't say this out loud, but if you really look closely at what they espouse, the viewpoints that they have, the positions on different issues that they have, don't serve the needs in the benefits of average folks. So while I think lower taxes is a great thing, nobody wants to pay taxes, let alone high taxes. But I think that if they're selling it to us, that selling the idea that lower taxes for rich folks is going to benefit people who are average income earners, I think they're not being honest with us. It's really about looking after their friends. It's about taking care of the people who took care of them to get them into office. And goodness knows when it comes to women's rights, Republicans and conservatives have a very poor record. Now, personally, I think that abortion is wrong. I think that it's wrong. I'll leave it at that for right now. Maybe I'll get into it a little heavier later on in the season. But when it comes to abortion, when it comes to birth control, which has been in the news quite a bit, Republicans seem to have a very heavy hand in denying rights or limiting rights to women. And so it's something I think we should really look at. We should really listen closely to the things that Mitt Romney says and make sure that he is interested in giving to you what it is you want if you decide to vote for him. Make sure that he represents you. Don't just make assumptions. Don't just be mad at Barack Obama and decide, oh, well, I'm going to vote for Mitt Romney. Make sure that the politicians are speaking to you. Then it's appropriate to give them your vote and your support. Now, on the other side of the equation, we have Barack Obama, who's in the third year of his presidency. And I was a huge supporter of Barack Obama when he was running. And I had so much optimism for his presidency. As it turns out, as far as I'm concerned, it's been a big letdown. He made so many promises. He broke a number of promises. And for a certainty, our economy has not bounced back the way he implied that it would, at least implied that it would. And on a number of other issues, he's been a little weak as far as I'm concerned. Now, to be fair, he inherited a horrible, horrible mess. And I think that Republicans saying, well, now, after all this time, it's an Obama economy has a certain amount of validity to it. However, I think it's disingenuous and unfair to say, well, after 3 years, it should have been better, because this recession has been unprecedented except for the Great Depression. And to just assume that 3 years is enough, I think is unfair. And to not give the president any credit whatsoever, to me, is ridiculous. Obviously, he's done some good. He saved the auto industry in this country. I think that it was obviously important for the auto workers, the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who still have jobs because of what he did in saving that industry. And also, just the image of America as car makers, I think it was important to maintain that and save that. He gets no credit from the Republicans for that. To at least try to improve the healthcare fiasco that we have in this country, I think he deserves credit for it. Now, I'll be the first to say that the Obamacare, as it's called, is a bit lacking. Mr. Obama said that there must be a robust public option, and the benefit of that is that it would make costs less expensive for people. That didn't make it into his plan. I was let down by that. And still, health insurance is ridiculously expensive, and the implementation of the good things of this plan are very, very slow. But there are good things. kids under 20, up to 26 can stay on their parents' plan. You can't be denied coverage. You can't be kicked off your health care plan if you're sick. Things like that are very, very good. And Mr. Obama gets no credit whatsoever from the Republicans, which makes me look with a crooked eye to the Republicans. But again, I think Mr. Obama is lacking in what he said he would do. He said that it would be the most transparent administration ever. It has not been that. He said there would be cameras from C-SPAN in on all the congressional sessions. There has not been that. So I think it is fair to hold his feet to the fire. And I'm also skeptical to hear all the campaign stuff right now, because it's obviously he's pandering to potential voters, and he hasn't been saying the things that he's been saying things that he hasn't been saying earlier in his administration. He's saying things that we want to hear. I'm struggling a little bit. He's saying things that we want to hear now. He's talking about jobs more than he was talking a year ago. He's talking about the economy more than he was talking a year ago. And he's on this fairness thing, that we must be fair, and that the rich must pay their fair share of taxes. He talks about the Buffett rule, that a millionaire or a multimillionaire or a multi-billionaire, in the case of Warren Buffett, shouldn't be paying a lower percentage of his income in tax than his secretary should be paying, which I think is a fair point. However, the president and the Democrats push this issue out there, implying that this is the thing that will turn our economy around, or that will fix the deficit that we have in this country. The truth of the matter is that taxing the rich more will not even scratch the surface of the deficit that we have in this country. And so it's dishonest to be harping on this as if it's some big national issue. Yes, it should be fair. No, because you're wealthy, you shouldn't get more tax breaks and loopholes and all this other kind of nonsense. It is unfair. However, it ain't going to fix the economy. It ain't going to fix the deficit. We need to make some real serious choices in this country about what we're going to do. We need some creativity brought to the situation. I'm always amazed at how little our elected officials bring in super smart people to fix our problems. There's brilliant people, there's brilliant business people, super creative types who can bring ideas to the table to help turn this economy around. And our officials are not doing what they need to do to bring in these minds, these brilliant minds, to help fix the problem. It's really, really ridiculous. I'm a little parched here. Cheers to my drink a little early. It's kind of funny. I've had people who, for some, to me, peculiar reason, have a problem with me drinking. It's not like I'm getting drunk, because I'm not a drunk. It's not like I'm showing abuse of alcohol. I'm sipping on a beer, or at the end of the show, I take a shot. All these people who complain are people who drink, and somehow on camera, it's a problem. I really am getting parched. I just find that interesting. And one thing you'll notice about me is that I keep it really real. Yeah. There's people who say that it's such a cliche. Yo, I keep it real, son. I will not fake like I'm anything other than exactly what I am. I don't drink on the show to be provocative. I don't drink on the show to have some party atmosphere, but occasionally I'll have a drink. I enjoy a drink. So rather than having water right now, I decided to sip on a Budweiser. It's all right. I'm looking at my stopwatch. I don't want to run over here. So next up, I want to get into Trayvon Martin a little bit. In the time since I talked about this last, George Zimmerman has been arrested. Thank God for that, because I think it was the right thing. And that's the thing that outraged so many people, is that he shot an unarmed kid and killed him and wasn't even arrested. Now, I get that I wasn't there. You folks weren't there. But Trayvon Martin is dead. At the very least, we need to have a trial to get the facts out. For all I really know, maybe it was self-defense. It doesn't look like that to me, but that's what a trial is for. A trial is to find the facts and to make sure that justice is done. Excuse me, I'm really struggling, I'm sorry. Justice must be done in this case and in all cases where a person has lost their life. Justice can only be guaranteed, or our best shot at justice is through a trial, when all the facts must be brought out on the table. It's outrageous that a person can claim self-defense and the police take their word for it. So he's been arrested. He has gone into his bond hearing, and bail was set at $150,000, which I think is outrageous. For a person to murder someone, to kill someone, and have bail set at $150,000 is an outrage. But this is what we're dealing with. And then George Zimmerman, during the bail hearing, apologized and said, "Sorry for the loss of your son," to the Martin family, which seems to me to be very, very fake and very disingenuous. At the time when he's trying to get out on bail, now all of a sudden he has an apology for the Martin family. I think it's a bunch of bull. But I think that Miss Corey, I believe it's Angela Corey, who's the special prosecutor who finally brought the charges, I think that she's going to do a thorough job. She took her time before bringing charges. I think that she wanted to make very, very certain that she had a super strong case. And so I'm hoping that justice will be done. Again, I don't know what happened. We know some of the facts. None of us know all of the facts. And so I think that is the benefit of what a trial will bring to all of us. And so I'm hoping again that a righteous net result will come from this trial. I'm hoping that he actually will go to trial, because there's a chance even still that it won't go to trial, but hoping for the best. I want to talk real quick about feeling overwhelmed. It's so easy, and I'm talking about because I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. A lot of stuff going on, and it's so easy for us to get caught up in the momentum of overwhelm. One thing happens, and it kind of puts us in a state of mind where we're almost looking for the next bad thing to happen. You hear people saying, "Oh, bad things happen in threes," which is the most ridiculous thing ever. Bad things don't always happen in threes, and if we're looking for it to happen in threes, then we'll find other things to make that statement a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you're feeling overwhelmed, it's important to be aware of the fact that you're feeling overwhelmed. And rather than looking for other bad things that are happening in and around your life, look for good things. Look for what went right. Look for what you have rather than what you don't have. Look for things you can be grateful for rather than things that are causing you stress and causing you difficulty in your life. It's very, very important to be present and be aware of the fact that you may be heading down a negative path as far as your thoughts are concerned. So when you feel overwhelmed, stop and think. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm starting to go down this negative path, and then redirect yourself by thinking positive thoughts, thinking about what it is you do have. Think about, rather than the problem, think about solutions. Think about, how can I become bigger and better because of this problem or this challenge I've been presented with? If you think solution, you'll start to redirect yourself, and you won't be overwhelmed for long, and you will actually benefit from difficulties that you face. So that's what it is. At the end of every show, you already know, we get our drinky drink on. And if you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, if you want to be a guest on the show, I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the guest situation. I'm hoping to bring some guests to the show, and I'll keep you folks updated as far as that. But if you want to be a guest, hit me up. The website, brand, KLHOUD1 at Comcast.net. I want to hear from you. If you send me a commentary, critiques, whatever, I'm more than glad to read it on the air, as long as I won't read swear words and stuff like that. You gotta keep it clean, and just keep it smart and intelligent if you can. All right, so you know what it is. May I live to be we're gonna still do the Bud Light. I might as well stick with the same thing. May I live to be 100 years. May you live to be 100 years in a day. Peace. Talk to you next week. See you.